All right, this is some information in regards to your IB exploration paper. So if you want to go ahead and pause throughout this video, I'm just going to highlight some things here for you. So your paper is going to be approximately 6 to 12 pages. You're going to choose a topic that has a math focus. And you're going to work with me in regards to getting some feedback throughout this process. I would suggest you pick a topic that has some interest to you. Please be aware that you need to be academically honest in regards to your paper, and if there are any direct quotes, you must acknowledge those. The next paragraph talks about the purpose for the exploration paper. So you can go ahead and pause and read the purpose to why we create this paper. All right, the next thing is how you'll be assessed. So if you're going to be taking the IB exams in May, we call them Paper 1 and Paper 2. They're going to be 80% of your overall IB grade to try to get college credit. There's another 20% that's made up of this paper, which we call the exploration. The maximum possible points in this exploration paper is called a mark of 20. And then there are these 5 criterias to make up these 20 points. So criteria A is dealing with communication. Criteria B is your mathematical presentation. Criterion C is your personal engagement. Criteria D, reflection. And then criterion E is use of mathematics. So we're going to break those down in a little bit. So here are the things we're going to be looking for. So you can get a maximum of 4 points, 4 marks in the communication criteria. Here are the things you must have. You must have an introduction, a rationale, why did you choose this topic, a brief description of what you're hoping to have the reader learn, and then a conclusion. You must also make sure that it's well read, which means it's logically developed, easy to follow, and concise. You're going to have graphs, tables, or diagrams, and you need to make sure they're clearly labeled. Your paper should be somewhere between 6 to 12 pages. 11 to 12 point font, Times New Roman is what we suggest. You'll also need to make sure you have a reference page for your work cited, so footnotes and a bibliography. The next criteria, the mathematical presentation, you can get 3 out of 20 points. So here are the things we're going to be looking for. Appropriate mathematical language, things that have correct notation, symbols, and terminology. You're going to have multiple forms of representation, such as a formula, diagrams, tables, and charts. You're going to choose the appropriate method to display your data. You could use a graphing calculator, some mathematical software. You could do spreadsheets like Excel or Google Sheets, database, drawing, and then a word processor to type it up. You'll want to define your key terms and explain what your variables represent. You'll also want to make sure you do it to the appropriate degree of accuracy. So like if you want 3 significant figures, we talk a lot about 3 significant figures in our course. You want to make sure you label your graphs, that you're concise, and you have headings on your tables. You want to be very careful that you do not have calculator notation such as this. 2 to the x power would not be written as 2 and then the little caret symbol x. You'd want to use something like an equation editor. All right, next thing is called Criterion C, the personal engagement part. You can get 4 out of 20 marks for that. 4 out of 20 marks for that area. It's suggested that you choose a topic that you genuinely like. You're showing your personal engagement in your paper by thinking and working independently, creatively, addressing why you chose this topic, asking questions, looking for real-world situations, maybe looking back in history or the global perspectives, and then asking your questions like, I wonder if, what would happen if, why does that happen? Criterion D is made up of 3 out of the 20 marks. That's the reflection section. So you want to reflect throughout your paper. Although reflection may be seen in conclusion to the exploration, it also may be found throughout your exploration. So it can be found in the end, but we suggest you do it throughout. And you'll be reviewing, analyzing, and evaluating. You'll discuss the implications for your results. You can consider the significance of your findings, what happens, state possible limitations, or what could you do that might make it better, or if you were to do this paper over again, what would be a better choice. Finding fault in your own analysis is acceptable. You could rework your math in a different way, making links to different fields and areas of math. The last criteria is criteria E, the use of mathematics. And this is where the most points are going to be given. It's 6 out of 20 marks. Since we're in a math class, this is the most important section. Mathematics you should explore in your syllabus. So it has to be part of our course content in our IB class. You cannot use prior learning. So things like Algebra 1 topics, maybe Algebra 2 topics. You need to be at our level of math. Some of the things you need to be aware of is you have to apply your math in different contexts, having problem-solving techniques, maybe recognize that you have some patterns where appropriate, using logic, make sure that you do not have any errors in your math. Notice here, if you do not choose high enough math level, you'll be only awarded up to a 2 out of 6. And then your mathematics must be clearly demonstrated throughout your math. So you're going to be explaining a lot in this math section. What did you do? How did you do it? Why did you do it? All right, after you've looked at this rubric, those are the 20 points, we need to start thinking about what kind of topic do we want to choose that has interest to you. So here are some things you might think about. So go ahead and pause whenever throughout this video. Here are some more questions for you to read. And then below, I have listed out many different types of possible topics. So please look at those different topics, see if any of those might be of interest to you. So maybe you want to do a sports paper. Maybe you want to do something with something related to, the coronavirus. Maybe something with social justice. Again, pause and read these types of topics. And then I've listed some more sites below. All right, here are some helpful websites that might get you going in your paper. This is a software program to help you work with graphs or diagrams, functions, and spreadsheets. Khan Academy is a good resource if you're looking at getting some help in your math content. There's also footplot.com. It's an online graph plotter. The next website here is a app that you can use, Wolfram Alpha, to research things. You can also use YouTube. One suggestion is if you're having difficulty with graphs in Excel, there's a website here for you. When you're typing up your paper in Word, there's an equation editor built in. Make sure you know how to use that. There are YouTube videos out there. The next helpful thing is a graphing calculator 3D website. It's a free program. And I'm going to stop there.